Johnson heads to the pocket. Layup. Johnson, good.
All right, welcome everybody. Another edition of Talkin' Sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house. Hope that everybody's doing well. We've got lots to talk about, and basically baseball is over. It's done. Great job. LSU wins the national championship. It's now time to talk about football. And football will be starting before you know it. Saints, it's not minicamp. Saints camp will start for the fall. Also LSU, Southern University, all the schools will start in the camps here pretty soon because Southern first game is August 23rd. That's week 0. And then LSU's first game is August 30th. And that'll be Southern's second game. And then the Saints will be getting going soon. So we're going to look at depth charts. Right now, what is the depth chart of both LSU and the Saints? I do it for Southern. But Southern didn't release their depth chart probably until the week of the game. I've been doing play-by-play there for a number of years. They probably do it the week of the game. And then sometimes you're not getting it all there. But that's what they do on that. But LSU and the Saints have released their two-deep chart. And this is a preliminary. This doesn't mean that this is the way it's going to be. This is the way in fall camp. This is what they're going to look like in the spring, in the fall camp when it will start soon. And we're thinking about probably July 23rd, somewhere in that area to maybe the end, maybe July 30th, somewhere for LSU. And Southern will start before that because August 23rd is their first game, so they'll start before that. They'll start about July 23rd, and usually they like to do 20 days before LSU and Southern, 20 days before the school year begins, and 30 days at least before their first game. So you're looking in that area, and they usually start on a Thursday, by the way, both LSU and Southern. So it'll be interesting to see when they start. They haven't released when they're going to do their dates yet. Neither have the Saints released their dates yet. So we'll get all of that in here soon. All right, let's take a look at LSU first. How it's going to look like. Offense, I think they're going to be a juggernaut. Everybody that's talking about the new college football video game says that LSU is loaded. They have high 90s for a lot of their players in the player rankings and everything. They're unbelievable. So they're killing it. They said LSU, if LSU plays like they're supposed to and doesn't have any injuries, this team is going to be loaded offensively, and it starts with great wide receivers again, and we're going to do that, I think, next week. Ohio State is claiming we have Ohio U. I mean, we have wide receiver U, and look, and I don't disagree with you. I think you're great. I think LSU's better in wide receiver U. I think they're better than Alabama, and I think they're better than Ohio State, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a homer here. We're going to prove it next week. That's what we're going to look at. Next week, we're going to prove who is the real wide receiver U, who's a real DBU. And that's going to go by a few things. That's next week. All right, let's talk about wide receivers first. Nick Anderson's going to be the wide receiver. I think he's going to be the go-to guy. A very good wide receiver. This guy can run good routes. He's very fast and what have you. I think he's going to be a good wide receiver. He'll be the X-wide receiver this year. I think Baron Brown, wide receiver in the Z formation. He is from, of course, the Kentucky Wildcats. He's a transfer. He'll be the Z wide receiver. I think he's going to be very good. Xavier Thomas is going to be right there by him. And, I mean, is there a chance that Xavier Thomas may take that job? Possibility. By the way, and Aaron Anderson. We're going to have two Andersons on the team, by the way. Nick Anderson and Aaron Anderson is going to be on the team. Aaron Anderson is from New Orleans. That's a young kid. I think that's going to be absolutely unbelievable. He's one of the best players to come out of the New Orleans area. Nick Anderson come from Oklahoma, of course. He's the transfer from Oklahoma, and I think he's going to be good. So those are three wide receivers right there. And Nick Anderson, Baron Brown from Kentucky. Aaron Anderson is coming back his redshirt junior season. Remember, he transferred from Alabama years ago after his freshman year. I think he's going to be absolutely unbelievable. Jonathan, I think you can agree with me. With Nick Anderson, the two Andersons on the team, and Baron Brown, I think wide receiver is going to be unbelievable for LSU this year.
Absolutely, Chris. And don't forget about Chris Hilton, another guy who can absolutely fly. Jelani Watkins, you talked about the college football game that comes out in a couple of days. Yeah, Baron Brown, 99 speed. Jelani Watkins, 98 speed. Of course, the game has LSU has an incredible offense right now, rated in the game at least, and it's going to be unfair to use the team. According to the guys that have played it and got it, pre-ordered and got it early, they're saying LSU is unfair to play with. They have the most talent on offense, and their defense is absolutely loaded as well. I'm sure you'll talk about that in a second. But wide receiver, obviously, always an embarrassment of riches, and it continues for LSU. Talk about bringing back Aaron Anderson, a guy who led LSU last year, who really played above his pedigree, I believe, last year. Another year under his belt with Garrett Nussmeier. Of course, Nussmeier in the game is the highest-rated quarterback. So, yeah, LSU's offense set up nice and pretty, starting with those playmakers outside.
No question. Hilton will be probably backup to Nick Anderson at wide receiver X, but he's going to get playing time. Xavier Thomas, also great speed, number 0, is going to be back up to Baron Brown at that Z wide receiver spot. And Kyle Parker will be, he's a redshirt sophomore. He's going to be at that wide receiver in the slot formation, I believe. He'll be right behind Aaron Anderson right there. Other talent, Trey Green will go to the tight end spot, and we need him there, obviously. He's going to be a big tight end, I think, this year. He's going to be able to make his move as a sophomore as a tight end, so I love to see that. Of course, Garrett Nussmeier will be the quarterback. There's no competition there. Hope and pray he stays healthy this year. This is his redshirt senior season, his last year of eligibility. Hope he'll stay healthy and what have you. And then the running back will be should be Caden Durham, number 29, the sophomore. Right behind him, hopefully Caleb Jackson comes back, has a great junior season. I think he had a sophomore slump last year. And then Harlem Berry, one of the most talented running backs in state history, is going to be there at that third spot. But that's what the two-deep chart looks for those position players, skill position players. So now the big question is offensive line. Offensive line is going to be the big question. Can they open the holes for the run, and can they protect Garrett Nussmeier? That's the big key. Tyree Adams should get the start of the left tackle spot. He's a redshirt sophomore. Should get that one. Carius Kern, number 57, will be a freshman. Is a freshman. He'll be right behind him. So, again, left tackle, the blind side of Nussmeier, he's going to have to really step up and play well. Also, left guard, this is probably rock solid, redshirt sophomore, number 65, Paul Mubinga will be in that left guard spot. Ori Williams, also Mubinga played last year, in that spot left guard on and off because of injuries. DJ Chester's got the center blocked off, number 79. He's a redshirt sophomore. He had growing pains last year. I think he's going to be a pretty solid, center when it's all said and done. I think he'll be a good center when next year when he's redshirt junior year, and he'll be able to go into the draft and what have you. I think he'll be a very good, really good center. Number 78, Cohen Eccles, the redshirt freshman, will be the right guard. Right behind him would be Bo Bordelon. Can Bo push for that spot at number 67, redshirt junior? That's going to be interesting to see what happens with that battle right there for that right guard spot. Right tackle spot, Weston Davis, number 75, is a redshirt freshman. That's going to be a big responsibility for him as well. And right behind him, it's a junior transfer, Josh Thompson, is going to be here, and he is battling for that right tackle spot as well. All in all, and he is from Northwestern up near Chicago. So all in all, Jonathan, I think, and of all the football team, that includes the defensive line, defensive backfield, everything else in that situation, offensive line is going to have the big question mark. Are they going to be able to answer it early? We're going to have to see. Offensive line should be fun to see.
Yeah, Chris, I think everybody kind of agrees with you that offensive line is really the biggest question mark on this team. I do believe LSU likes their two deep, a bunch of guys that will compete. And I'm not sure that LSU even knows who's going to be the starting five when it goes to week 1 against Clemson. It's going to be the best 5 available. They can also run a jumbo package with the extra offensive linemen. So a lot of depth, obviously at the wide receiver spot and at running back, also at tight end. So it's going to be fun to mix and match the personnel, try to create some mismatches on the outside. But you're right. It all starts in the trenches, and will that offensive line be able to open up some holes for Durham and absolutely keep Garrett Nussmeier upright? He is the engine that drives the car. This offense will live and die by how Garrett Nussmeier does each week. So, it all starts with the offensive line. I think LSU does like their group, and you have to have trust in Coach Brad Davis. He's done a great job so far in Baton Rouge. Of course, he was the interim head coach when there was that exchange between Coach O and Coach Brian Kelly. Was the only coach that was remaining after the transition in head coaches. So he's done a great job at LSU. Have to have faith he will be able to develop some of these young guys. And They like their group, so I'll have faith in these coaches.
Yeah, no question about that. And like I said, that right there, we're going to be able to see. That's going to be the bread and butter right there of LSU is that offensive line. How can they hold up? Nussmeier cannot be like Derek Carr running for his life, throwing all the run all the time. I mean, he's a decent quarterback throwing on the right side when on the run, but at the same time, you want your quarterback to plant its foot. And he's very accurate when he can plant his foot. And I think with his second year, this is his second year going in, I think with his second year, he won't be probably as crazy trying to I think last year he threw 8 interceptions. He won't try to throw those stupid, like Brett Favre would do, throwing between, space like that. So hopefully he'll be a lot better with that. Another thing that people are wanting to know about defense, I think defense is going to be good. I think Baker's an unbelievable defensive coordinator. Obviously, he is the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. I think we've got some good players that are coming in. Let's look at the defensive ends first. Jack Pyburn, number 44, left defensive end from Florida, the transfer from Florida. I think he's going to be a great I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. That's what we need. We need him to put pressure on that quarterback. On the other side, Patrick Payton, a redshirt senior, he's also a transfer. He's going to be on the right defensive end spot. I think also he is going to be a guy that we're going to look for. He's another guy from the state of Florida, but he came from Florida State. He was a former Seminole. I think those two guys put a lot of pressure on that quarterback on the edges, and that's what we need because I think right there in the middle, I think Harold Perkins is going to come back. They want Harold Perkins to be like he was his freshman season. Play the position that makes you comfortable. You basically are playing like a free safety. You get to play anywhere on the field that makes you comfortable because you're that talented of a guy. And I think if you've got those two bookends that are playing great and putting pressure on the quarterback for the bookends, right up the middle, I think Harold Perkins Jr., who's going to be that weak side linebacker, back to his normal position, not going out as much for passes, covering his 10-yard area, but also going in and rushing the quarterback or basically plugging the hole to stop the running. So I think he's going to be. I think hopefully he'll have a good year. Now the other thing is going to be his mind. I know because I had a major knee surgery like that, major knee injury. It comes into your mind psychologically. If he can get that out psychologically and play the game, he'll be a high draft pick next year for the draft. There's no question in my mind. Defensive tackles, Dominic McKinley will be the starter right now. He's penciled in as the starter and on the two-deep chart, number 96. Sador Mitchell, redshirt sophomore. He's also a transfer. He is right there at that left defensive tackle spot. He is a transfer from the University of Texas. Right defensive tackle, Ahmad Bro. He's a sophomore, number 93. He's listed as the starter, but you've got Bernard Gooden coming in as a redshirt senior as well, transfer from South Florida, and also he came in from Wake Forest. He was at South Florida to start his career. He was at Wake Forest last year, so he's going to be trying to get that position as well. As your weak side linebacker, Harold Perkins Jr. is going to be there, and I hope that he has a big year. Whit Weeks had a big year. He came in. He didn't start at the beginning of the season, but obviously he played very well. Got injured last season, but he should be back to 100%. The middle linebacker, number 40, didn't play in the spring. Perkins didn't play in the spring either. What I like about Weeks is his motor and where he wants to go for the ball. His nose is always for the football. He reminds me of Pete Warner for the New Orleans Saints and former Ohio State Buckeye. He's got a nose for the football. I just wish he was a little bit bigger, hopefully built in his strength this year and get going on that, but I think he's going to be good with that. That is your defensive line and your linebackers right there. They'll run a 4-3 defensive scheme, and I think that's going to be that's the two deep chart they've got right now. That's what LSU's listing, and we'll see what happens after that. Left's cornerback, let's take a look at the two cornerbacks. Ashton Stamps Jr. Will be at the left side. DJ Pickett, who is a freshman, will be right there at the other spot, number 3. At the right cornerback is going to be Mansour Delane. He is a redshirt senior and transfer as well. Delane coming in from Virginia Tech, so we'll see how big he's going to be. Right behind him, Jakeem Jackson, also a transfer. He is a redshirt sophomore. He'll either get his playing time this year, more than likely. He'll get some playing time, no question in that. He's the second transfer from the University of Florida, so we'll see how things go with that. So that'll be interesting how that goes. All right, and your nickelback will be Tamarcus Cooley, the redshirt sophomore. He also is a transfer, big part of the number 1 transfer portal class for the LSU Fighting Tigers. He comes from Maryland. He started his career at North Carolina State, so he'll be big, no question, with P.J. Woodland right behind him. Then you got your strong safeties. Jordan Gilbert, redshirt senior transfer. He's coming in. He's going to be a big part of this football team. He's going to be probably your strong safety. He's listed as the number one spot right now, coming in from Texas A&M. Then you've got Javian Tavano. He's a junior right behind him, number 25. And then, of course, A.J. Halsey, the senior transfer. He's coming in. He's going to start at that position. There's no doubt in my mind. He played at New Mexico and started his career at Houston. So all in all, your thoughts, Jonathan, on the defense for LSU? That's, I think, the second biggest question mark that people have. If they can play in cohesiveness with a lot of transfers, that's the most transfers on one side of the football is defense. If they can play with cohesiveness and play as a team, this defense is going to be very much improved from last year.
Yeah, in my opinion, Chris, looks like a very versatile group, a group that Coach Blake Baker's going to be able to adopt a lot of exotic blitzes and get to that quarterback. But in my opinion, it starts from the trenches again. Dominic McKinley and Amabro have to have good years, plug up some holes up the middle. I believe LSU will be able to get to the quarterback on the edge. You get the additions of Pyburn and Peyton, alongside with Harold Perkins. We haven't really seen Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins on the field a lot together at the same time, both healthy. Very much looking forward to it this year. I think that's a strong suit of LSU's defense is that linebacker core. And that secondary, you mentioned it. Mansour Delane going to get a lot of variable playing time very early in his LSU career. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback opposite of Ashton Stamps. I think both of those guys are shut-down corners. And I think DJ Pickett, with a lot of size as a true freshman, is going to get early playing time as well. So, yeah, you plug in a lot of transfers, guys that will come in and have immediate impacts. And I think LSU did get the right type of guys, the guys that want to compete immediately and are not afraid of competition. And I believe there's going to be a lot of competition on that defense side of the ball to get playing time. And look, there's a defense last year that gave up too many big plays. And I think Coach Blake Baker kind of prides himself on communication and eliminating the blown coverages in the back. So it has to improve this season. I think the pass rush will help these cornerbacks. But, yeah, we'll see very early. I mean, it's going to be a top 10 matchup week 1 against Clemson. So they'll test this secondary, and we'll see what LSU has moving forward.
Their first 5 games, they've got 3 unbelievable opponents. But going back to defense, the name of the game in defense, if you put pressure on the quarterback, then that quarterback doesn't have time to find his receivers. Any quarterback that's a good quarterback or decent quarterback, in the National Football League, it's any quarterback. Any starting quarterback will pick you apart if you give them all day to do it. Same thing with college, but not to the extent. But if you give all day to the opposing quarterback to throw the football, he's going to find a receiver open. He's going to find a receiver open. So the bottom line is, can that defensive line get to the quarterback? And, of course, Perkins Jr., can Perkins Jr. get to the quarterback? If they can do that, then that quarterback's going to have a hard time of passing the football and also will disrupt the run as well. And that's what we want our defensive tackles to do. So all in all, I think it's going to be a very much improved defense. And, and like we said, I mean, it's a top 10 matchup with Clemson and LSU. Pretty much everybody is going to have LSU and Clemson in the top 10. And that game starts, and it's at one of the toughest places to play in America. It's not as tough as the real Death Valley here in Baton Rouge, but it is a tough place to play. It's a great atmosphere. They come in on the bus. They come down the hill, touch the rock, and they get onto the field. It's incredible. And, and they'll love it. South Carolina fans will go crazy. They'll be there. It'll be a massive sold-out game. Everything will be crazy. But when they come to LSU next year and see how this Tiger Stadium and this Death Valley is better, then they'll really know it. But that first game is going to be a big one, 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Clemson and LSU. If LSU pistol whips Clemson or beats them like we did in the national championship game in 2020 for the 19th season, then it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Then we play Louisiana Tech the very next week. Okay, that will be able to heal our bumps and bruises from that. Then the Florida Gators are the very next week. So that's 2 out of 3 right there, big opponents that you're going to have. And Florida has a cushy schedule all the way up till they play LSU. Now, that's the earliest LSU has ever played Florida Gators ever in the history of both their programs. The first game was in early September. This was way back in the 30s. And now this one will be the earliest time they will ever play. They played late in the September, by the way, in the 1930s. This is going to be early, September 13th. First big SEC game and the first big game, LSU versus Florida. That game will be at 6:30 p.m. on ABC. So 2 games on ABC for LSU, Game 1 and Game 3. Then they play Southeastern and the Lions. That'll be on September the 20th at Tiger Stadium, and then they'll play at Ole Miss, another big game. That's their 3rd out of 5 games they're going to play. That game is to be announced. It's either going to be at 2:30 or it's going to be between 5 and 7. I would think it's going to be between 5 and 7. That's called a flex kickoff for the SEC, and that TV dictates all of that. Then they host South Carolina. South Carolina, I don't think is going to be as talented this year, even though they have a very talented quarterback in Lenoris. But at the same time, they're going to be out for revenge. South Carolina's going to be out for revenge. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think LSU's too stacked. I think it's going to be great. Then Vanderbilt. We go to Vanderbilt. LSU plays at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was a big-time, great feel-good story from last year. And obviously this year, that's an early kickoff window. That's going to be from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. But that's at Nashville. Their new stadium is renovated. They're going to be great. It's going to be crazy. Jonathan, remember last time they went to Vanderbilt, they ran out of beer?
Absolutely.
Probably the whole city of Nashville ran out of beer. But that's an early kickoff window. Then LSU will play an early kickoff window again, or 5 to 7 p.m. It's kind of a flex kickoff there as well when they play Texas A&M on October 25th. Obviously, they have an off week. November 8th, they play at Alabama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and then Oklahoma. They'll be for the first time ever at Norman, Oklahoma. They'll play at Oklahoma. So it's going to be interesting to see this schedule. Another tough schedule, Jonathan. As always, seems like LSU has it all the time. But if Brian Kelly stays around long enough, I don't think they're going to be opening up with the Clemsons or anything like that anytime soon.
Yeah, Chris, and you look at that Week 1 matchup, and it really starts right there. You can't overlook it. To be 0-1 again, to get off on the schneid one more year, 4 years in a row would make it for under Brian Kelly. You saw how upset he got last year. He's beating on the table saying, we're talking about the same things. It was national media because everybody kind of understands he will be on the hot seat immediately Week 2 with all the money they spent in the transfer portal, the number 1 portal class, the NIL commitments. You go through the gamut of reasons why LSU. Just look at Jay Johnson. Came here the same exact year. Now Jay Johnson has 2 national titles, and Coach Brian Kelly still hasn't made the playoffs. It just isn't good enough to win your 10th game at the bowl. It starts at Week 1. I told you last week I thought that LSU would go 10-2 this season. Obviously, I'm worried about that Week 1 matchup against Clemson due to LSU's recent history of opening games in their schedule. Also, very worried about that early Florida matchup. You mentioned hasn't faced Florida that early in the season. Florida, very talented. Also spent a lot of money in the transfer portal. Coach Billy Napier wanting to make his mark down there in Gainesville. You mentioned Oklahoma, traveling to Norman for the first time. Alabama's going to be Alabama, so a lot of tough games for LSU. But you win that first matchup, and you put a whooping on Clemson. It's going to get national attention real quick, and you'll get everybody's best game. So with expectations come with a lot of pressure, and hopefully LSU can handle this pressure Week 1 and get off to a strong start.
Yep, and same thing with going to Ole Miss. We haven't won at Ole Miss in a couple of years.
Right.
I think, was it 19? The last time we won at Ole Miss? I have to go back and check that, but we haven't won at Ole Miss in a while. I know for the last 2 years we've lost at Ole Miss, and they haven't beaten LSU at Tiger Stadium in forever. It kind of sounds like A&M, doesn't it? A&M hadn't beaten LSU since they got in the SEC ever. And, again, they're coming to Tiger Stadium. So being interested to see how things go. Like I said, tough schedule for LSU. But if they got a talented team, they can lose Week 1 because it's at Clemson and still make the playoffs and go 11-1. But the psyche of this team after that, it'd be interesting to see. Again, the only thing I hate about transfers is how quick do they become cohesive as a group? How, what do you – if you're a free safety and a strong safety, you know you're going to do this and you know you're going to do that. I know he's going to be here and I know I'm going to be there or what have you. It takes time. Defensive tackles or defensive ends rush the quarterback. That's not a big deal. If you look at an offensive playbook, it looks like a menu, a large menu. If you look at a defensive playbook, it's as big as this iPad. It's not very big. It's, in fact, even smaller than this. But so defense is a lot better. We have more transfers there. Wide receivers are going to have to work big time on wide receivers and the quarterback timing. And I hope that if I'm if I'm the quarterback, Nussmeier, I have those receivers. That's what Joe Burrow did his senior year. I have those receivers. Let's go. Time to let's do this. 30 minutes after school, an hour after school. Let's get going for 1 hour. Coaches don't even know about it. Let's go. Let's work on our timing. Let's get our timing down, and let's find out what your instincts are. If the quarterback's in trouble, hey, do I come back with a curl and I'm coming back with a comeback route? What do you do? That's what I need to know and all that stuff. All right, as we did the projected LSU two-deep chart, we'll do the Saints two-deep chart coming up right here as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house, back after this time out on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadia and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars. All right, welcome back, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Football season is coming fast. Thank God. This, to me, is the slowest part of the year between the end of LSU baseball and the beginning of football. It's the slowest time of the year. Even after the Super Bowl, it takes me a couple of weeks after, and then I start getting to where I'm like, I want football back. So you go to YouTube, watch all the games you want, either for the Saints or LSU. Go back and watch the LSU-Texas game, from 19. Go back and watch the Saints' heyday games. Because we haven't had a heyday in the last 4 years, no question. But speaking of that, the Saints' projected two-deep chart is also released. They go with a one running back set with Kellen Moore. It's going to be a one running back set and one tight end for 32% of the times. Other than that, sometimes they'll have two tight ends set. But this is what they're going to look like. And this is who I think is going to be the starting quarterback, and it's going to be Tyler Shock. And you know why I say that, Jonathan?
Why?
Because Brandon Cooks just asked Chris Olave, Rashid, and himself and Tyler Shock to come and start playing. It's shook, by the way. Start playing and doing throwing drills.
Yeah.
So if Brandon Cooks is saying that after just getting off a mini camp, there's two things that's going to happen. Either he knows he's going to be the starting quarterback, or if not, Rattler's going to be pretty ticked off if he gets a starting job.
Yeah, I actually heard that. It was Jay Kaner also, and almost all the receivers, almost everybody on the offense that went down to this, group throwing experience. But it was actually Spencer Rattler. He was hosting a youth football camp during the time. He knew about it. He just couldn't make it available with his schedule.
Yeah, so I think Tyler Shough was going to be the starting quarterback, no question. Olave is going to be that left wide receiver. Bub Means is going to back him up there at that spot. Brandon Cook's going to be the wide receiver, and Kevin Austin Jr. will back him up. And then that S wide receiver will be Rashid Shaheed, rather. I don't know why I can't talk today. I think that's going to be your starting slot receiver because I think with him, he's got a lot of speed. There's no question about that. Got injured last year. He's starting to catch the ball a little bit better. So you got two speedy wide receivers. Olave is not as fast of a wide receiver as these two guys, but I think it's going to be great. Cook's probably lost a step or two as well. As far as tight end spots go, they've got right now Foster Moreau, number 87, as the number one guy on the right side. Jawan Johnson will still be that left side guy, and he'll be the tight end most of the time, though, I think, because of the fact he runs a better route, but to me, he's still not catching the ball like he wants to. There were rumors that he was going to sign with the Denver Broncos during the offseason and go back to Sean Payton. He stayed with the Saints. He re-signed with the Saints. He wants to be here. I like that big time. Taysom Hill will back him up there at that spot, and then Jack Stroll will back Foster Moreau up on that one. I think, we're going to have Shuck is going to be the starting quarterback. Spencer Rattler will back him up. And, Jonathan, if I'm the general manager or head coach of the Saints to free up a spot when you've got a Taysom Hill on your team that can play quarterback in an emergency situation, I think Jay Kaner's gone in my book. That's a roster spot right there that you take. I think I let Jay Kaner go. That's a roster spot I can make up somewhere. You've got a tight end and Taysom Hill that can play quarterback. There's no question. What say you on that?
Yeah, and I agree with the thinking, Chris. And we've seen Taysom Hill take snaps, and he's going to take snaps again, especially in the red zone area as quarterback. Even though he's going to probably run the football. That's a great point. You bring three. You have Hayner and Rattler. You sign another one in Hecker, and now you have Tyler Shuck. You get Shuck in the second round, and to maximize his value, you certainly want to give him some playing time early in his career. See if you hit a home run in the second round. If not, you'd probably draft another quarterback next season. Do have some experience coming back with Olave and Shaheed. Brandon Cooks, obviously, his second run in New Orleans. Lots of speed for the wide receivers. Tight end will be a question mark. Foster Moreau did do some good things for the Saints, especially in the red zone, but him and Jawan Johnson both have had their share of the drops. Mm-hmm. So we'll be curious to see. Also, the running back spot, obviously, Alvin Kamara comes back, but Kendre Miller, it's pretty set up for Kendre Miller to have a breakout season for the Saints. If not, it's going to be, if not now, when for Kendre Miller? Right. Probably looking to move on for that situation if he doesn't produce this season. So, look, it's all going to be on the table. No expectations for this offense. Obviously, you have a new play caller, new head coach, new quarterback. So, look, a lot will be seen come week one. What this offense look like? How often do they run the football? What can they do setting up play action? But this offensive line, it was one of the worst in the league last year. They tried to improve it through the draft again this season. So hopefully whoever the quarterback is does have more time. Obviously, Derek Carr did have his struggles in the black and gold, but it wasn't all his fault. No. Running for his life a lot of the time for the Saints. So it really a lot goes on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I think their big question mark will be again on the left side. You got Kelvin Banks Jr. is a rookie. He's going to be the starter. Yep. He's penciled in as the starter.
Yep.
But Trevor Penning is his last chance. They did not renew his contract. They didn't give him a contract extension, a rookie contract extension, because they don't know what he's going to do at left guard. If he does good, then they'll keep him. He is so huge and looks so strong. He is strong, but he just doesn't have it here. The footwork and the arms and everything else, he's getting stood straight up like that, and you can't do that. So they're going to put Trevor Penning at the left guard spot. From left tackle when he started, moving to right tackle last year, now he's at the left guard spot. This could be the perfect place for him to be. And if he's at that left guard spot, and I said that weeks on the show, months ago, I said that he should be put at that left guard spot or even the right guard spot. That's the blind side of the quarterback. So I'm hoping that Trevor Penning does well for his sake, or other than that, he's going to be gone. He'll be out. He'll be out of the league. There's no question about that. This is his last chance to start it to this. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. I think the right side, I think, is going to be pretty good. I think you've got McCoy, obviously one of the best centers in the league. He should be in the Pro Bowl. I think right guard is Cesar Ruiz. I want him to have a better year than he's been having as well. He's had a good year, but he's not had that all-pro year. He's got to stay healthy, too. That's the big thing with Ruiz. He's got to stay healthy. Talise Friaga on the other side of the right tackle spot moves from left tackle to right tackle. I think this is his best spot. This is where he played in college football. So this is going to be his spot right here at that right tackle spot. And if he's as comfortable and as he seems to be at that right tackle spot, then I think this offensive line could be the best since I think the second to last season of Sean Payton. I think it's going to be the best offensive line they've had since then, and it all stems on that left side. It all stems on that left side with Banks Jr. and Penning. Are they going to be able to hold off on that left side? That's going to be the key in this matchup. All right, defense. They're going to run a base 4-3 defense. A lot of pros like to go 3-4. If you're a pro and you have the speed to do a 3-4, most people do. But I think we have two good defensive ends, too. I like it. They kept saying the Saints were looking for this defensive end and maybe get this defensive end. I think we've got two good defensive ends. Not the Pat Swilling and Ricky Jackson days back in the days during the Dome Patrol, but I think Chase Young, I want to see this guy get it. He wants to be here in New Orleans. He could have went somewhere else. Detroit wanted him. A lot of people wanted him, but he wanted to re-sign with the Saints. He loves this atmosphere. He loves the city of New Orleans. I am excited. I want to see him for the first time now since he was with the Redskins or Commanders. I want to see him right there be better. He is huge, a big guy. This guy is a mountain. Like Penning, he is a mountain. He's got to get to the quarterback better. He started playing better at the end of the season. I want him to get better right now with this and the left defensive end spot. Cam Jordan's going to back him up there at that spot. Cam's happy with that. He's fine with that. The nose tackle, former LSU player, Gottschall, comes in. He's going to be playing in that spot, nose tackle number 92. Brian Breezy will be at the defensive tackle on the other side. Kalen Sanders, don't forget about him. You remember he came from Kansas City. He had a pretty decent year last year. He'll be in the backup with Gottschall on that nose tackle spot. So that's your defensive line. And then on the other side, obviously, we didn't mention the other defensive end, Carl Granderson, which I think had a pretty good year last year. And better because, they re-signed him, got him to a new contract. He started getting out. He gets out. He's long and lengthy. He gets after that quarterback pretty well. Middle linebacker will be Demario Davis. When will that guy slow down? He had over 100 tackles again last year. Are you kidding me? That guy, is, except for 1 year, has had over 100 tackles in the entire part of his career. That's incredible. Pete can't stay healthy. Hopefully he can. He's got a nose for the football. He's fast. He knows where to go. Danny Stutzman will back him up at that spot. So right now, looking at that defensive line and linebacker spot, I like it better than last year. I really do. I think they can get to it. Cornerback spot, they're still looking for a good cornerback. They've got left cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry. They think he's going to lock that down. All right, we're going to see how he's going to do in his second season. I think he has a good chance to be good. Quincy Riley will back McKinstry up. Justin Reed comes from Kansas City, a Super Bowl winner from the state of Louisiana. Did not play at LSU. His brother did, but he comes in at that strong safety spot. I think he's going to be a good one. Hopefully he stays healthy. Tyrann Mathieu did play at LSU, number 32, the free safety. He's also from Louisiana, from New Orleans. That's where he's going to finish his career, is at the Saints. The Honey Badger will be that free safety. But the right cornerback spot still up for grabs. Right now they've got Isaac Yundum there as an unrestricted free agent. He's going to be interesting to see if we got him. Rico Patton, but they're looking at a couple of other people they could possibly sign before the season starts, even for a trade or free agent. They don't know yet. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Alontae Taylor will be the will be the nickelback at that spot, and Amade will be backing him up at there. Overall, what are your thoughts on the defense, my man?
Hopefully they can reach the quarterback in the pass rush, and it's going to come down to Chase Young, kind of guy that, it looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. A guy that absolutely looks the part, very physical, athletically gifted, but just has trouble getting to the quarterback, finishing those sacks, and it's really good. He has to have a big year. Cam Jordan is obviously later on in his career. He's going to have to move inside sometimes. And yeah, it starts with the pass rush because who is going to play cornerback? A huge question mark for the Saints. Who's going to play opposite the Kool-Aid? The linebackers, I like what they did in the draft with Stutzman, and I like how they try to beef up the middle with some youth at that defensive tackle position. But yeah, who's going to play corner? Is Honey Badger going to be able to finish another season? Obviously, it's year 13. Starting to see the production fall off a little bit due to injuries last season and the year before for the Honey Badger. So. Look, no more Dennis Allen. You kind of knew what you were going to get with the Saints year in and year out, at least with the defense, what it was going to look like. But this is a new chapter of the book. Hopefully they can bring some pressure with some looks. It's going to start with the pass rush, as I mentioned, because you have to help these cornerbacks out. You talked about the quarterbacks in Major League in professional football. If you give them 4 or 5 seconds, it doesn't matter who's playing defense. They will pick them apart. They'll find those windows. These wide receivers are way too fast to cover just one man, get that side of the field. So it's going to be tough for the Saints. I'm not sure what other who that fans out there are thinking. For me, I think the ceiling is 6 wins for this team. That's if a lot of stuff goes right offensively for the Saints for them to win 6 games. So yeah, it's going to be a struggle defensively, but hopefully you can stay healthy. These older guys can teach these younger guys how it's supposed to be done. What the culture is supposed to be in the locker room, what practice is supposed to look like, and hopefully Coach Kellen Moore can kind of get some type of foundation built. This year doesn't mean a whole lot for the Saints. It's really just the foundation year of what he's trying to build in the black and gold. I don't expect the Saints to reach the NFC Championship like they did year 1 under Coach Sean Payton.
Right.
But defense, in my opinion at least, is going to struggle, and it's going to leave some points needed to be scored by the offense. So it's going to be struggle at first, but we'll see. It's going to start with that pass rush, Chris.
Well, word is that they already brought in Ashanti Samuel Jr.
Yep.
He has ties with Staley. There are reports that the Saints fans want him. In a recent poll,
Yep.
they want him. And we got 2 weeks left before Saints start training camp. So with that being said, I have no problem with bringing in Ashanti Samuel Jr. right now with the Saints. He, again, knows what Staley wants to do, knows his MO, everything. And I hope they eventually bring him in, just depending on how much money he's want. Now, the Saints, believe it or not, the Saints have more money in the salary cap than any other team in the National Football League now.
Tell him, Chris.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So anyway, well, we'll find out what all happens. Of course, the Saints' first game is at home against the Arizona Cardinals. I think we can win that game. It's going to be on CBS, not Fox, by the way, because of all the flex schedule at the end of the year and all that stuff. You never remember the old days. You used to see all the NFC games on CBS, all the AFC games on NBC. That's all gone now because of the flex games, because of Thursday games and all that stuff. So the Arizona Saints game from the Dome will be on CBS. That game is set for 12 noon. No games set for prime time for the Saints, at least for now. But that Saints-Arizona game will be the first game. I think we have a good chance of winning that. The 49ers are also in an opportunity right now in Week 2 on September 14th. That's going to be another game in the Dome. 2 games back-to-back in the Superdome to open up the season. I think we're not going to beat the 49ers possibly. If we do, that'd be a big win to go 2-0. There's no question. But I think the 49ers right there, or I don't want to say a rebuilding year in a way, but they've lost a lot of their players that are big. Kittle's the only guy they got back to be able to be back at that tight end spot. Then we go to Seattle. We usually don't play good in Seattle, even though we won the last game there at Seattle. But we're not going to win this game. It's going to be a 3:05 game Central Standard Time. We all go to Buffalo as well. Buffalo's going to be, I think, one of the strong teams, but I think the team that just can't get to the Super Bowl. It's tough for them to get to the Super Bowl, but they still will be good with Josh Allen. And especially now, Jonathan, since he got married, he's going to be unbelievable. Then after Week 5, we play the New York Giants. That's a winnable game there. That's possibly a third game for the Saints if we go 2-0, possibly a third game. I think especially for Week 2, I think, game 2, win 2. Then we host the New England Patriots in the Superdome as there. I think Patriots will be improved this year. They haven't been a good team in a while. We go to Chicago. I think that's another winnable game. Then we will host Tampa Bay in the Superdome. That's on October 26th. On November the 2nd, we go to L.A. We played the Rams 3 years in a row, but this is at Los Angeles. So that's going to be at SoFi Stadium. Then we go to Carolina on the 9th. That's up and down. We don't know what will happen with that. They get their bye week in Week 11 before they host the Atlanta Falcons in Week 12. That's the week of Thanksgiving on the 23rd. That's 3:25 p.m. Central Standard Time game. That game will be on Fox. So that's a chance. Could be the game of the week, depending on how both teams are at that time. I think that's a definitely winnable game in the Dome, though. I think with, I think they also are still don't know what they're going to do, especially the quarterback spot. They're going with their rookie from last year in Penix, but I don't know how good he's going to be. Then they go to Miami. Miami's a fast team. I don't think we'll win there. Then we stay in the state of Florida. We play at Tampa Bay the very next week. Then they host Carolina in the Dome on December the 14th, hosting the Jets on December 21st, and that's their last game in the Dome. The next 2 weeks are on the road. Tennessee Titans should be a winnable game, and they're at Atlanta. That's a flex game right now. It's to be determined because it's the last week of the season. All in all, you say 6 games. I say, and you brought up a good point, Jonathan, and you brought that a couple of weeks ago when you said that you don't think that this Saints will be as bad as you think because of the fact they're in the NFC South.
Yep.
And that's a very good point because I think it's either 1 or 2 wins against Carolina,
Yep.
1 or 2 wins against Atlanta. Could be 1 or 2 wins against Tampa Bay. I don't think 2. So, I mean, because they were returning most of their players. So I think the toughest is going to be Tampa Bay in that division.
Yeah, I agree, and I think by now, I think most football fans would agree that Baker Mayfield is for real. He's a great NFL
Yep.
quarterback that stepped into a situation where they needed him in Tampa Bay and gave him time to flourish.
He's changed his attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a real leader now, and I think that you split with Atlanta, you split with the Panthers, but I don't think you pick up a win against Tampa at this point. I think they are a team that's in a much better spot than the Saints are in, and a team that doesn't like the Saints very much, didn't like losing to them before Tom Brady got there, liked to rub it in their nose after Tom Brady got there, lost in the regular season, knocked them out of the playoffs late in Drew Brees' career. You saw him tossing the ball with Drew Brees' kids on the field of the Superdome after they beat him in the playoffs. So, I agree, Chris, that the NFC South is set up for it's anybody's division. I do think Tampa is in a class of their own right now inside the division. But the other 3 teams are right neck and neck. I think the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers are kind of all in the same position, with maybe the Falcons getting a slight edge because they're skill players. What they've done at the running back spot and how they move the football sometimes on offense. We'll see how Michael Penix does pan out. We've seen what Bryce Young did, got benched, came back, looked to be a pretty good quarterback. So, it's all up in the air right now. Thankfully for the Saints, it is a winnable division, as we discussed, but still, I don't think they're on the same level as the Buccaneers. You went through the schedule just now. The games that you said were winnable, the Saints have to play their best game to be in any type of football situation. Got to play good defense, have to be able to run the football to set up the play action. Unless Kellen Moore has a lot of tricks up his sleeves, which you never really know. If you get all 53 guys pulling on the rope in the same direction, crazier things have happened, and the Saints win 9 or 10 ball games in a season. So, we'll see. That's why you play the football games, Chris. It's not all about who shows up off the bus. You got to go out there and compete.
Right. Nobody thought that the Saints would go to the NFC Championship game, and like you said, in their first season with Peyton, and then also nobody thought Washington Redskins would be any good last year, and guess what? They were. For interesting, nobody has won the NFC South 5 times in a row. Carolina started it with 4 wins in a row, 4 seasons in a row they won. Then Atlanta won. That's the year they went to the Super Bowl and got beat. Then the Saints won it 4 years in a row, and now Tampa Bay's won it 4 years in a row. Can they win their 5th one? They're going to be heavily favored to win their 5th straight championship in a row. Nobody's ever won the NFC South 5 times in a row. It'll be interesting. When we come back, what about the football attendance in the state of Louisiana? Are we looking good? Are we looking bad? Are we supporting football? We'll find out when we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house. Marty's in the house, back after this timeout right here on Pelican Sports TV. If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Wanted to know some figures have come out. Are fans attending college football in the state of Louisiana? Let's find out. First, obviously, we start with LSU. Last year, LSU's average was down 0.03% at 99,518. Obviously, that's 97% of their capacity of 102,321. So LSU down 300th of a percent. That's not anything to go crazy over or whatever. So it shouldn't be that bad for that. Louisiana Raging Cajuns, they've been renovating their stadium. They're going to have it open for this year. They're going to have a big celebration with that. Congratulations. It's beautiful. The stadium looks gorgeous, by the way. The Raging Cajuns averaged 17,952 per game last year. That is no change from 2023. 0% change. That's 48% of their stadium to capacity, and it's because of the fact of the renovations that they're doing. They're going to have over 30,000 when their stadium is completed. And again, it is for this year. Louisiana Tech averages 15,999 of their 28,562 seat stadium. That's negative 1.64% from 23. They have 57% of their capacity. ULM gets only 15,803 on an average of their 27,617 stadium. They're down 1% as well. 52% of their stadium capacity for their games. So what's going on? We've got, I know why UL Lafayette or Raging Cajuns, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, why they're at 48%. What about Louisiana Tech? Why they're down to only 57% of the capacity? What about ULM? Why they're only down 52%? Tulane is up. Good news for Tulane. They average about 23,980 fans of a 30,000 seat stadium in Yeoman Stadium. They're up 0.87%. Okay, and their stadium capacity is 80%, so that's good there. Grambling or Southern, let's go with Southern. This is FCS football. Those are all Division I footballs. Southern, 18,463 on an average. That's number 7 in all of FCS in their 28,500 seat A.W. Mumford Stadium. So that's good. They're 65% capacity on that. That could be better. Used to be better in the day, but they haven't won a championship since 13, so fans want a championship. Grambling State only has a 19,600 seat stadium. They're number 18 in FCS at 58% of their stadium is full. They have 11,334 on an average for each football game over at Eddie Robinson Stadium. McNeese is another one that's kind of shocking. They're down 10,269 on an average out of 17,610 seat stadium. That's number 22 in FCS. That's 58% of their stadium is full. What's going on? McNeese also used to be a juggernaut in FCS, but they're not anymore. So what's going on with that? They need something to get that motivated, like a Will Wade did for basketball. Nickel State, 5,909 they're averaging per game. That's number 64 in FCS, and they have a 10,500 seat stadium. That's 56% of their stadium full. That's not going to cut it either. Another one, Southeastern is struggling. Southeastern only has a 7,408 seat stadium in Strawberry Stadium, and they could only fill it up by 55%. They average 4,099 fans per ball game. They need better at Southeastern. They need more support at Southeastern. Northwestern State, 7,045 on their average. That's number 50 in FCS. They have 15,971. And the Superdome, 70,012 is their average in 2024. That's number 14 in the National Football League. They have 95% of their capacity, which ranks them at 25th in the National Football League. We'll be back with more Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers, right after this time out on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
Welcome back, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers. LSU strength and conditioning coach and former softball player Katie Guillory lost her leg this weekend. It was July 4th on an accident during the 4th of July. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her. They tried to reattach her leg. They didn't get blood flow in it, so they had to remove her left leg. God bless you, sweetheart. I hope you do come back a strength and conditioning coach. She's strong. If you're strength and conditioning coach, you're strong already. Strong-willed, motivating the players. I hope you can come back. I really, really do. A good friend of mine, Bob Brunet, has died. Bob Brunet was from Rose, Louisiana. He owned Brunet's restaurant over there on Flannery at Florida Boulevard for years. He was drafted in the 7th round by the Washington Redskins, played at Louisiana Tech. The year that he went pro, 1968, was the first year, and that fall that Terry Bradshaw took over at the starting quarterback spot. He played 68 and 69. Bradshaw was then drafted. But Bob Brunet started out as an equipment guy, but wanted to play football so bad that he started as an equipment guy at Louisiana Tech. And they said, you know what, I'm going to try out for running back. He did. He got it, and he got drafted by the Redskins. And guess who was the coach of the Redskins at that time? Lombardi. That's right. Vince Lombardi was the head coach of the Redskins back in the day. Our thoughts and prayers go to the Brunet family. LSU steals an assistant general manager from Ole Miss. Kevin Bolden was a key in recruiting for the Rebels starting back in 2022. So he is now at LSU as assistant general manager. That British guy who came to Louisiana this summer pledged he'd buy an LSU jersey if they won the World Series. He bought one. Guess how much it cost, Jonathan? $194 with shipping and all that stuff.
Crazy.
Not me. I'm sorry. I love LSU big time. I can't wear another guy's jersey, though. They say former players are hard to do that. I can't wear a Drew Brees jersey. I can't wear anybody else's jersey on LSU baseball. I can't do that. I have to wear my own jersey that I earned myself. That'll do it for this week's Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back again next week. We'll talk more football as we're getting closer and closer. Saints 2 weeks away from starting training camp. Cannot wait. I'll see you next week right here on Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers, and Pelican Sports TV.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson heads to the